our minds, right? And last year, I thought he won it. He loses it last year, and now you plant the seed again, and you mean to tell me that Seth is going to screw him over in the championship, and you're going to do it in Philly, the town that we're known that doesn't like stuff being fed to them? You're crazy. You're bugging. You're really bugging. Like honestly, like come on, guys. Like we got to
I,
stop this nonsense here. I'm sorry.
Matt,
We got to stop it.
Matt, we're
don't.
joined by BK Matt. So you just finished the Your Sports Show episode. So Matt, your thoughts, brother?
I don't think WWE gains anything with the Seth screw job of Cody. Because honestly, we've seen Seth versus Cody 3 times already, and he's beaten him clean 3 times. There's nothing left to see here. Like, you're gonna have to come different, pause. You're gonna have to come different from the revolutionary, whatever the hell you say. You're gonna have to come different from that.
Don't
You
don't
want?
don't don't, don't disrespect Seth like that.
I'm not disrespect. I'm a Seth fan. I'm a Seth fan. But when Cody gave us applesauce and was like, "Oh well, Rock, you can go against Roman," and I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna look behind me and give you the like, you bullied me into this type look, and I'm gonna just face Seth thing. Like we all was like, nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to see Cody versus
No, of
Seth.
course. And sorry, and not to cut you off. The other part of it is that Seth looked like he's going away for some time, right? Because he's hurt.
Still hurt. He's hurt.
Yeah,
He's
he's hurt.
hurt. Like, so you're
That
gonna turn on like you're gonna turn on Cody and then you're gonna disappear? Like what? Like,
I have
come
something to say about that. Um,
Shoot, Ty.
Look, last time we were in this situation, we thought it was impossible that Cody was getting his main event back, and I'm still owed apology. No, I'm playing. But what you call it? I thought outside the box, and I thought, not every single storyline can be dismissed, right? I'll put it to you like this. The idea of the double agent thing for Rock and Seth, it works for both. Obviously, Rock doing his thing, but I think it can work for Seth in the sense that if Roman promised him something, if they went with the angle of Roman promising Seth something, if he were to do that deed, they can make it work. And I'll tell you why. The idea of Seth being a full-blown heel, yes, would be jarring, wouldn't be impossible. But let's say Seth turned for a specific reason. Because remember, Roman basically buried the world championship into the dirt a few weeks ago, right?
yeah.
And Seth's biggest thing, one of his biggest storyline elements going into Mania is, I have no idea who I'm facing. To the point where I got to beg Cody, to the point where I got to do this. Like, I don't even have a projected match. I don't know if I'm going to make it to Mania. My theory is, what if Roman were to have made a deal with Seth, or maybe Paul did, right? Make a deal with Seth. You want to have the match of your life. You want to be the number one, because that's another thing of Seth's story. He wants to be recognized on the same level, if not higher than Roman, for his efforts, right? But he just never has been this whole past decade. I'll guarantee you the one-on-one match with Roman if you do this for me. Because the person that's getting in your way is the guy that they're propping up to be the next face. He's the guy they keep putting him in these positions. The guy that's taking your spot away from you to beat me is Cody. Get close to Cody, make him think he's your friend, and then put the knife in his back. And you know how to do it because you've done it to me. So do it.
The crazy thing
And
is,
not necessarily to start a
I have
program
2 points to
Cody.
get to, but I'll let y'all finish. I got 2 points to finish
Not
that,
necessarily to get
and
to,
then I'm
not
gonna leave.
necessarily to get a program with Cody, but more so to do a deed for Roman to get a certain match. Now, whether Seth takes some time off after Mania, which he should, even though he is cleared, like, dude is damaged. He's like, him and Kenny Omega are fighting for explosive wrestler, has body made out of tape at this point. Do it. But what I'm saying is there is a possible angle there. Again, it wasn't that long ago that we thought that Cody getting back into the main event was impossible. So I'm just saying, once again, we can't rule out everything. Not to mention, if you have night one of WrestleMania end with Seth turning on Cody and making it so that anyone in the bloodline can interfere in the main event the next night, that perfectly lays the ball up for Rock to basically stop the entire bloodline from ruining Cody's night, if you want to go with the double agent angle too. So I'm not going to say no to everything.
Carl.
Listen, I'm gonna say 2 points here. One other point I heard is that Seth has never beaten Cody clean, right? And he's trying to get his revenge. And I'm gonna try to say this as clear as possible. And we have to stop doing this as fans, right? We love to book these scenarios where we want this to happen and that to happen, and we're overthinking. Well, he's gonna plot behind him. Give Cody the title and let's move on. Like, what are we doing? Like, is it really that hard that we still can sit here and say, Roman is plotting with Seth and he's getting in his head? Like, why are we doing this to Cody Rhodes? Like, why are we doing this? We never did this to Austin. We never did this to Rock. We never did this to Roman. We never done this to nobody else. Why are we doing this to Cody? Like, why? Like, do we not like him? Like, come on, that. Like, no, time out.
Who brought up that point?
What point?
The point of I'm trying to decipher through the rage here. What you call it? The point of like Seth turning on Cody and costing him the title.
That's what I heard. I never said that's my point though. And then you co-signed it where you said, "Oh, I could see it too." And I'm like, how?
I didn't co-sign. No.
He didn't co-sign it.
I didn't co-sign that. Just said I co-signed the idea of Seth turning. I never said costing him the belt. If anything, I said him turning on Cody on night 1 to make it harder for him to win the belt on night 2. But then The Rock coming in. Yeah,
right, but it doesn't make sense to me for him to turn. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. Like, why are we doing all of this? Is this just to make Cody's story harder? Like, is that the point of emphasis? No. Like, I like, for me, it's like, it's already been hard. Dude lost last year, and we thought he was winning. Like, that's already been established. Yeah.
Allow me to clarify. Cody should have won last year. We shouldn't be here. Let's get that out the way. 1, 2. But since we're here, what I'm saying is, if you wanted to, not saying you have to, but if you wanted to have Seth's turn and make this another twist that could work, the reason why I'm saying you could possibly do it is because Cody's destination doesn't end. Him getting the championship is the end goal. He will do it. What they've done is they've taken all of the different things we've all been thinking that could ruin WrestleMania's main event and using it against us, right? To make the story more interesting. If Seth were to turn on Cody, it would immediately draw an interest in continuing drama that would cause us to watch more episodes to find out where do we really go from here? Because to your point, there's a lot of reasonable doubt. Why would we want to see Seth and Cody again? Doesn't guarantee we're going to get Seth and Cody again. It means they will interact. It doesn't mean that they're going to necessarily wrestle. And 2, and I think one of the more important points from it is like, isn't the drop-off of interest post-Mania anyway?
Yeah. You're trying to keep the train going after.
Exactly, because one of the things that they've been doing under Triple H's regime is they've been trying to tie everything. It's some Avengers Marvel BS, where it's like, you can't watch one movie and it be a standalone good movie. Once you watch one, you have to watch everything. I had to watch, what was it, Miss Marvel? I didn't want to do that. It wasn't because it was a bad movie. It was because, well, it was a bad movie. It was because
my daughters liked it. They loved it.
No, I understand, but like, Miss Marvel got placed randomly in the timeline to be brought back to be relevant for the next movie coming in. It was like, it should have been done early. It's a long story, but there's certain things like you can't watch one thing stand alone anymore. They're making it so that you have to have a little bit of a knowledge of the previous thing, or they make it so that you can catch on pretty quickly, right? And if the drop off for Mania interest is the week after Mania, everyone goes, all right, I'll catch the next pay-per-view and that's it. They're actually trying to get you to watch the episodes. Now, granted, you could pick different stories. You could do different angles that would do the same thing, but I don't think it's necessarily the worst idea in the world.
I do. And that's what I do. I'm sorry. I just think, Randy, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
No, the only reason why I disagree, Carl, is the fact that how many times after WrestleMania, let's say for shits and giggles, right? All goes right, Cody's a champion. Now he finally finished the story. Now it's the what next, which is what Tyler's alluding to. Usually at times, let's imagine the former person that was in that seat that used to book, after WrestleMania was still booking. After WrestleMania, boom, he wins the title, but what next? You're going to give him someone completely inferior and then feed him like bottom feeders until like you get one of those guys? No, but hear me out with this one. How many times has Vince done that over the years where you gave like Cena has his moment, wins at Mania, or someone wins at like Daniel Bryan when he wins at WrestleMania. After WrestleMania, you give him Kane.
So our
Like,
fear is
you-
that
you
Cody's
want-
not
you want-
going to get his due diligence. So we're saying Cody's not going to get his due diligence after Mania. Is that what we're saying? Like he's not going to have
Yeah,
opponents.
like,
I can
yeah.
list a shitload of opponents
No,
that Cody can get. That
you
are
can
legitimized.
you can list the opponents, but it's the presentation after. It's like, okay, Cody has won.
I'm not
cool,
even
but
worried
what's
about
next?
that. I'm not even worried. I could list a ton of them that you could actually. Someone just said he just said it. Orton, number one. That's number one right off the bat. He's never faced AJ Styles. You see what I'm saying? He could do something with Damian Priest single on. There's a lot of options that you can go in, the directions you can go in with
Who's to
Cody.
say he's to stay on Raw? That's the thing. Because
He could
now
become both champs and go either way. That's what, but I'm not even
creates a lot.
concerned about that. What I'm concerned more about is that we're overthinking giving Cody the championship. It's already been like it's like he already had to go through the tribulations of getting back again, and then he had to dodge the bullet of The Rock. So that's already enough. And then we want to keep stacking more odds against him and making him look like he's going to look like the hero when he wins the championship already. Yep. That's my point, is that like just give him the title now. It's just like at this point, I'm kind of at the point where it's like, all right, like enough is enough now. Let's just give him the championship. Like even Kofi Kingston didn't have this tough of a road to get to the championship, and he got his Mania moment.
That's fair.
It is. Right? And I understand it, because the more adversity he faces, the bigger he looks. I understand that. I get that. But why are we throwing, oh, well, Seth's going to turn, and then this is going to happen, and then that's going to, like, no, just book it. We already know The Rock's turning because he's pointing up the L in the air. We already know that's going to happen. We see it. The writing's on the wall. Cody's going to win the championship. That's it. That's how I see it. But again, I could be wrong, because like
we know he's going to turn because they keep throwing innuendos to the conversation that was had that made Cody cut this promo, but they never expand on what the conversation was said. So we know that the turn is coming. Again, I don't understand why everybody's bringing up Seth as a turn, because again, what does Seth gain from that? What does he really need? What does he really need a feud with Cody if you're the top guy for Raw?
Validation, because you're still a little broad with Roman.
Not even the validation. I think one of the other elements I'm thinking of is, you know how they like to say they play the long game? If you have the turn happen here and then Seth disappears, people would be like, what was the point, right? Mm-hmm. If Seth were to come back after a disappearance, get some time off, relax, fully heal, no strings attached, come back, and let's say the draft happened post-Mania, right? Roster got a shake-up, this and that, and they had like a spot left open that SmackDown got a secret draft spot or something to the effect of this and that. You basically get the best of both worlds, because to Carl's point, there are plenty of people for Cody to face, assuming the rosters stay the same, right? Cody versus AJ, Battle of the Bullet Club alumni. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, the legacy storyline. You also have LA Knight. You also have hold up.
You have Gunther. You have Solo. There's a lot of
yes, I'm not saying no, but here's the thing. We know if they're gonna do Cody's reign justice, to your point, Carl, is going to be longer and longer and longer and longer. Probably going to hold it to the summer, probably to the fall, right?
Who, Cody's going to hold the title, you're saying?
Yeah, possibly to the summer, or maybe even to the early fall. And eventually he's going to need that big angle that's going to carry us out in the year. Seth comes back. Cody's had a substantial reign. Cody's not sweating Seth. Well, Cody is mad at Seth because Seth almost cost him that championship in the first place. Seth is a mastermind, strategic mastermind. He planned this. He decided to leave right after Mania because he had a whole idea. He wants to beat Cody at his best as champion and get the win back that he never got. And basically spiritually beat Cody, the guy who beat Roman, to prove he's the top guy in the company. It does make sense.
That's fair. I don't see him, like, the thing is, I don't see Cody losing. The only thing people are storming around is the whole Hogan